Steps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We
you want one quick question?
can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.
Yo. What's up? My name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is Eraure of Black. So I finally figured out what's been going on with this thing because I was wondering. I was like, why is it like to pull back the curtain? With the recordings, I've had to wait a little longer than usual. It used to just be immediately after the live broadcast, but now it's been taken, and it's because I've been on local recording still. I have to check that off. Note for next time. But we've already started now, so here we go. We're gonna start this one off as you read in the title. Olivia Miles, she has officially transferred. She transferred to TCU. It was head scratching because it's like she had nothing else to prove in college. To be honest, some people said that she did have a couple things that she could work on before she headed to the WNBA, even though she was a guaranteed number 2 pick, top 2 pick, top 3 pick, and things of that sort. So she goes back, and you're thinking she's going back to win a championship. So you're thinking UConn, South Carolina. Me personally, I said Duke. It could be a possibility for her and things of that sort. She ends up choosing none of them. And she goes, USC, what was something that a lot of people said since Juju's out next season with the ACL tear, but she goes to none of them. She chooses TCU instead, and it's like, okay, how much money does TCU have to pull Haley Van Lith, Sedona Prince last year, and then now pulling in I was about to say Haley Van Lith again, but Olivia Miles and her teammate Callie Watson from Notre Dame. And so with that being said, she went in and did the whole thing on Turner, announced it with Candace Parker, put on the jersey, did the entire thing with TCU. But then she did a live on Instagram, and someone clipped it up. Shout out to whoever clipped it up and put it up. But a brave fan, an honest fan, asked her just straight up, do you hate Hannah Hidalgo? Is a part of this because of Hannah Hidalgo? And yeah, she responded to that and apparently said no. So this is my first time watching this. I haven't watching it with you guys.
There's literally
as well. It's only 19 seconds, so it's only 19 seconds.
You're happy, thank you. You and Hannah good? Yeah, we're fine. We are perfectly fine, y'all. There is no beef. There's literally no beef. Like y'all are creating out of thin air. And to address my tweet, y'all kind of took it and ran with it. My intention behind, I don't have to explain this, but my intention behind it was just like, there's a lot going on. But y'all took it and ran with it. So you're happy, thank you. You and Hannah good?
There it is. She said it ain't no beef. For those of you who didn't know what the alleged beef was or what fans were running with, including, I was looking at it kind of sideways, was she reposted this TikTok that was like some Christians, they are Bible thumpers and preach the Bible, but aren't just nice general people. And before the season started last year, Hannah Hidalgo, she shared a Candace Owens segment or clip where Candace Owens was speaking about gay marriage and how that doesn't align with, the ways of the Bible and the ways of Christianity. And the person was pushing back, but doesn't God love us all? Yes, but that doesn't mean that everybody will get into heaven because it's a sinful, you're living in sin, this and that. I believe that was the context of the Candace Owens clip. And Hannah shared it. And of course, being in the women's basketball space where it's a large community and a large portion of LGBTQ plus, they all got mad at her. And it's been a thing that stayed with Hannah throughout the entire past season and in the postseason. And she created a Players Tribune article where she was like, I'm not homophobic. Like, I don't know where this thing is coming from. I kind of understand it, but that was not my intentions at all. And people are still on Hannah's neck. Like, we don't care. You think we believe that and all of that. So in the midst of that, Olivia Miles, who will, I don't want to throw anything off, but they were saying that could possibly been something that rubbed her the wrong way in the locker room. People shared an old Muffin McGraw, excuse me, Muffin McGraw quote where she was talking about how, excuse me, pollen, how homophobia can break up a locker room and things like that and stuff. So, it's just been a large discussion. And people were like, why is everybody from Notre Dame transferring this year? Is it because of Hannah Hidalgo? They're tired of Hannah because Hannah's the only one that transferring. So that was another thing. So Olivia Miles, there you have it, addresses it. It's not Hannah Hidalgo's fault. It's not Hannah Hidalgo's fault. She just outgrew it. Or I don't even know if she said it. Did she address it? Is there a full live that I could look up? Let me see if there's a full live on here that I could find maybe on YouTube or something. Olivia Miles. Let me see it live. Hoping that you will sing about me. I don't know why that song's in my head. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar though. I'm gonna try looking on Twitter. I don't see anything immediately on YouTube about it. Let me see Twitter live. Nope, nope, nope. Let me see if this page itself has any more like just clips. Anything else here? Oh, they said Hannah's watching. Okay, it's a couple more clips. Oh, she said Angel Reese is my friend. We cried and crashed out together, girly.
What's up, Angel?
They really clipped this up.
Glad you're happy. Thank you. You and Hannah good? Yeah, we're fine. We are perfectly fine, y'all. There is no beef. There's literally no beef. What's up, Angel? To go.
And here's Hannah watching the show. Or watching the live, excuse me. I said the show. Okay, Hannah was in Tampa. I was trying to see if Olivia was there or something. But yeah, that's pretty much that. That's all that's going on there. Just wanted to say that there is no beef, and Olivia Miles is officially at TCU. So now that that is out, what's going on, man? What do you guys think is going to happen next season? Let me know in the comments, man. With Olivia Miles at TCU, does TCU, are they still just kind of like what Notre Dame did last season, where just went to the Sweet 16 and that was it? You know, is it enough to compete with UConn and the young lady that's coming over from Spain to go along with Sarah and AZ? I don't know, man. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But yeah. That is definitely something worth considering, and just looking at and things of that sort. Shout out Olivia Miles. Let me see. Hold
Glad you're
on.
happy. Thank you.
All right, we are almost there. Had to make sure that we had it. And we are good to move to the next topic. So we're good to move to the next topic. And the next topic that I want to speak about are journalists cheering on the job. So this student journalist, Talia Baya, she recorded herself cheering at the national championship game and things of that sort. She's been recording herself throughout the course of the NCAA tournament, like kind of cheering and being nervous for the team. I guess, kind of some old heads in journalism, like we're like, yo, this isn't good. And at the end of the day, it just kind of comes down to like respect for the profession and showing respect to the public. Like, journalist's job is to have as least biases as possible to present a fair and truthful story to the public, to the readers. Present what the news is, what the facts are to the fans, to the readers, and let them kind of like go and give their opinions off of that and stuff. So a great example would be like on the channel, right? The entire Carmelo situation. So the first thing was just a first initial hearing the story and giving my initial thoughts on the Carmelo situation, right? After that, I just straight up read the news report and the facts. So it was less commentary, just more. Here's what the people are saying, not going off the rumors that were going around online and still are going around online and stuff like that. Just sticking to the verifiable facts and things of that sort. And, that's journalism versus commentary and versus opinion versus this. What this young lady is doing right here, it's more so content creation of a social media influencer And while she's in the locker room doing the interviews and she's still putting in work and stuff like that, she's more so kind of going for a influencer role within the media space. And I think the lines have been blurred within media probably since like 2018, 2019, 2020 of like an influencer versus a traditional journalist or a reporter. Like I think people have the lines blurred between reporters, commentators, and influencers. And because they're all on the same type of network, same platform, so it's like who's who. And it's dangerous because if you got an influencer who's obviously a fan of a place, then that can, what I'm saying, sway their way that they present their reports or anything like that. You're thinking it's a news report. Whole time it's just a Florida fan speaking about our team, you know. And that just sways everything. Sways what you think of it. Like say I grew up an anti-Celtics fan. Like I hate the Celtics. So I never give Jason Tatum his props. Like I'm like, oh, they're like, what about Tatum? This is, just doesn't do it for me. He's boring. And I put out this narrative that Jason Tatum's boring. And it's not because I actually think that Jason Tatum plays a boring brand of basketball, but because I just hate the Celtics. And I've always hated the Celtics since I was a kid. That's a dangerous narrative to start. Now Jason Tatum's getting less brand deals and less this and that opportunities to make money off the court and to get off season postseason awards because like people aren't voting for him because they aren't talking about him in the media every day and stuff like that. That stuff has a trickle down effect. The media is very powerful, bro, whether you want to admit it or not, because the media, like in the word, is like medium, right? So we're the medium between what like kind of happens and then versus like how the people receive it, how the masses receive what happened, right? The medium or the medium between that, the media. So it's like we're very powerful people, bro. Like who was a good example? um you'll think say huh I'm trying to think of a player. I can't think of an immediate player, but think of a player, right, who was no, I don't think that's a good example. But say if Isaiah Thomas, right, he was the MVP candidate with Boston, had an amazing season that year. Was that 2015 ish, 2016, 2017? Had an amazing season that year with Boston. Boston ends up trading him for Kyrie Irving. So now he's in Cleveland. So now he's in Cleveland. Um, he's in Cleveland and he doesn't get as much time because it's a crowded backcourt. They bring in Dwayne Wade. LeBron brings up the ball most of the time anyway, and it's just not the best fit. So now you have people saying, I don't think Isaiah Thomas is the player he once was. I don't think his size will allow him to be as dominant as he once was in the NBA for a prolonged period of time. And so now that's the narrative on Isaiah Thomas, and now Isaiah Thomas can't get in the in the NBA anymore. He's out the loop. He can't get on the roster spot and everything like that because people are just like, he's peaked. He's had his thing. Yeah. Hold on. Let me respond to this. Yeah, so that's a way just immediately that narratives can really direct like a player's career. Um, say if LaMelo Ball became a free agent in a couple years, and people are like, LaMelo Ball is talented, but he's never healthy. He's never available. His value can go so far down in a free agent market, and he'll have to sign a much smaller deal than what his talent is and stuff like that, and what his career has demanded, just because the narrative of he doesn't play is out there. So I mean, it's like narratives really. Ben Simmons, oh man, narratives destroyed him before his own mental and his own confidence destroyed his own career, and where he's become a journeyman around the league and played for Brooklyn, and now he's on the Clippers and stuff like that. His career could have went a whole different way if it weren't for a large part of narratives and narratives getting in his head and getting to him and affecting his play on the court and things of that sort. Somebody else said, famously on a podcast, they said PG allowed media narratives and what people said about him really affect his own court play. and stuff like that. Like these things matter, bro. And any way of being swayed as a journalist, bro, is can be detrimental to the other side just because it's like for you might be and then it's like Florida, right? Florida is the same school with student journalists where they exposed a coach last year. The student journalist, the student newspaper exposed the coach for something that they were doing behind the scenes. I can't recall the story, but I just remember the students did that. They broke the story. It was a big deal. The student journalist, student newspaper did that. If something like that were to happen to this basketball team and this particular reporter knew about it, she'd be more hesitant to even report the news. You know what I'm saying? She'd be hesitant to report the news because it's like, those are my friends. I'm fans of them. I'm this, I'm that. They expect this of me. They expect this behavior of me. They expect a certain level of protection because we're friends. We're cool. And now it's affecting her doing her job, her ability to do her job because everybody thinks that they're friends now. And if she reports and does her job, oh, now you fake. Everybody turns on her. Everybody ices her out. This is why me personally, the approach I take, I'm pretty much distant from everybody, even the people I'm closest with in the space. I'm closer with some athletes and everything like that in the space than others. But all in all, I'm distant from the athletes and the subjects because if you mess up, I'm going to have to report on it. And if you mess up and I report on it, then dang, you know what I'm saying? You looking at me like, bro, you a op. You texting me, don't text my phone again. You fake snakes in the grass. And it's like, bro, whole time I was just doing my job. You the one that got arrested for speeding at 2 a.m. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do that. But now you thinking like I wasn't holding you down as a homeboy or, you know what I'm saying, as a brother or whatever the case might be. Because that's the way that you kind of held in your head, the standard you had for me in your head and stuff like that. So, yeah, I say all of this to say it is very important that journalists don't cheer. I say all that to say that journalists should not cheer, bro. So yeah, for sure. Okay. Uh the last thing I want to speak about today is from the Black Press USA, the voice of the Black community. This is from April Ryan. Shout out to April Ryan, man. One of the GOATs, one of the best of her time and stuff like that. Trump targets the slavery removal from the National Museum of African American History and Culture. The museum's slavery facts and sustaining artifacts of 250 years of enslavement of Africans in America, curated by historians, are a bullseye for Trump's administration. Black people are not going to stand for this, says Nicole Hannah-Jones, the author of the 1619 Project. She is responding to reports that President Trump is targeting the slavery section of the National Museum of African American History and Culture. The museum's slavery facts and sustaining artifacts of 250 years of enslavement of Africans in America, curated by historians, are a bullseye for the Trump administration. Excuse me. I think that this is a sign of deep sickness that could to think that you could go to the National Museum of African American History and Culture and feel the need to erase how Black people got here, emphasized Jones, who added, to erase or minimize the slavery and freedom part of the story of that story is to create a fantasy of how we got here. We literally would not be in the United States without slavery. Now, a lot of people, this has become a kind of a controversial statement because a lot of people are talking about a lot of the Native Americans were just naturally Black. Whatever is going on with that, that's going on with that. But in terms of the story that we've been kind of fed and taught our entire lives, or at least my entire lifetime, yes, all Black people, majority of Black people came on slave ships as slaves. According to sources, Smithsonian officials are secretly strategizing to stave off presidential actions for Republican support to preserve the history. Smithsonian officials hope that once they secure Republican support, they can present the attempt to save the artifacts and museum integrity to President Trump. In its lower portion, the museum takes tourists on a historic timeline journey from American slavery to Jim Crow, the civil rights movement, with the casket of Emmett Till and simulations of the Montgomery bus boycott, among other noted moments in American history. We cannot be a free democratic society when you have the most powerful people in the world who would take control of the History Museum and force them to tell a lie, said Deshaun Jones, who had been tracking the museum's movements for more than closely. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm losing. It's getting late, y'all. I got to keep up with my reading. Movements more closely since its director, Kevin Young, left his post last week after 4 years on the job. Over 1 million people visited the museum in 2022, making it the second toured museum, most toured Smithsonian Museum. All right. President George W. Bush signed a HR 3491, the National Museum of African American Act, in December 2023. He signed that in 2023, authorizing the creation of the Smithsonian Institution Museum African Americans Legacy of Africa. The first Black president, Democrat Barack Obama, opened the museum. Also, she must have meant December 2003. Opened the museum in September 2016. Meanwhile, the Republican Golden Age president, she's making fun of his golden dollar, President Donald Trump is focused on the whitewashing historical and proven facts of African Americans, calling it ideologically, ideologically unacceptable. Recently, presidential derivatives for the National Park Service have removed references to the underground Tubman from the unfazed Black-White Corporation. Harriet Tubman's picture was prominent, and she was the most famous Underground Railroad conductor. The website's faces now features commemorative stamps of various civil rights leaders and texts, including Black and White Corporation. Jones was emphatic that this is the sign of people who are deeply insecure and untruthful and want to erase the very foundations of this country. So yeah, man, once again, we're seeing this, Jackie Robinson was another one, and now we're seeing it with the African American Museum of History and Culture, where they're trying to push out a lot of the allegedly slave facts and slave history and slave artifacts and things of that sort. This is something that matters, bro, because if you don't know your history and your past, you can't move forward. I remember Ye, I hate to go back to Ye all the time, but Ye, he tried to make a point a couple of years ago where he's like, oh, we had enough with Black History Month. We need a Black Features Month. We need to look forward. We need this and that. You can't move forward without going backwards. And for Ye, he might have been a 40-year-old at that time who's heard the same stories and the same facts of Black history every year for 40 years. It's a whole nother generation of kids who are 10 and under who have never heard those stories before. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to teach those kids and then teach the next generation of kids and the next decade of kids and et cetera, those stories, to keep those stories alive so you know where you come from, so you can know where you're going and things of that sort. So I said the same thing 5 times there. It's getting late. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Shout out to April Ryan for writing this. Shout out to Black Press USA for publicizing it. And salute to Nicole Hannah-Jones as well for speaking up and being a great kind of passionate voice in the piece. My name is Rashad Milligan. As always, it's a very, very short live. But this is the road to 5K subs. If you are new to the channel, until next time, please take care of yourselves.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
Good question.
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.